hillside wore off, sing it loud. Into the Romeo Foxtrot, shall we dance?
Oh, greetings, fellow travelers, stumbling towards the end of a great civilization as it meets its reckoning. That's purposefully a bit pessimistic. I still believe that we are at a point where we are in a great reordering of our society. This is our choice. We can participate in reordering things to find the things that have worked and throw the rest of this nonsense out into the dustbin of history, hopefully never to reappear or be remembered, and reaffirm the values that we need to keep and build on that for an even brighter future. But many days, as we look at the news and so forth, it's hard to see that. And many of us feel, I think, like our first statement, that we are dragging ourselves towards some sort of Gomorrah. and it can certainly seem that way. And I think that we still have the intestinal fortitude and the knowledge base and the understanding of what made us great to do things that will keep us great. And hopefully a resurgence. And sometimes the resurgence brings out even the better than existed before the stumbling and the darkness that we have seen. It happens all the time in civilizations. Many times they crumble into things that don't resemble what they used to be, and sometimes they rebuild that shining city on the hill even better than it was before, because they've learned a lesson. So here we are. But what I want to talk about first is that's a Kamala moment. First is first, yes, because it's important to be first. First is something that we have to be first in, and we should always do it first. Gee, I do sound a little bit like Kamala when I said it. Anyway. This is Rick Wagner here on KNCZ, KGLN, and several other places. We are all over your radio dial, 1100, 980, 92.7. I won't go through all of them. If you're listening to them, you know which ones they are. We're also very lively on the Internet and other ways of being heard, and you can find our podcasts, which is a rendition of these segments and sometimes a few other things, on our website at therickWagnerShow.com. Or out on Podbean, and we're pushing it out to TuneIn and Spotify and places like that. I shouldn't say we, as I have nothing to do with it, but say, gee, that sounds like a good idea. So that's the extent of my input into the technical side of that. But hopefully you'll get some enjoyment out of it and perhaps provoke a little thought. The next piece I wanted to talk about is a little bit do what we just said, and that is that we are confronted with a lot of negative news, a lot of shocking things, a lot of twists of reality that make us feel as though we have saved a lot of money, that we don't have to order any drugs or hallucinogenics, that society itself is rendering itself into sort of a bad acid trip. I don't believe we'd want that anyway. But I think that from time to time, we need to get away from that. And I've said this before. I just want to bring it up again because I meet people and myself sometimes feel very kind of down for periods of time, or I do a lot more head shaking that's probably healthy. And let me relate something that happened to me this week that kind of brought it all home. I sponsor at one of the humane societies. They do some things with senior pets and things like that, older pets, cats and dogs that sometimes their owners have had to give them up because they had to move where they could not keep pets, or an owner has passed away or something. And those pets sometimes are harder to place. I don't know why. They're usually a lot more behaved and things, but sometimes people don't know. And I offer, in some instances, if the Humane Society, the Grand Rivers, who we work for here, and some other things, if they find someone who really is going to make a good adoptive parent, as it were, for one of the pets, then if they really seem like they can't come up with the money for the adoption because they do shots and all sorts of things like that prior to adoption, and it can cost a little bit of money, then we help out here through the office. And so that happened this week, and someone had sent me an email who had adopted an older cat, and we had helped with some of those little bills so they could do it. And they sent a really delightful picture and a very nice little message. And you know what? I felt really good. Not just because I feel like I'm virtue signaling or something, and I'm not mentioning it for that, but I did something that had nothing to do with politics or anything like that. I did something that was kind of important to me and it made me feel really good. And it took my mind off things. And I bring it up because I think it's important for everybody to do that. I think we're just sautéed in negativism, and we should find the things that we enjoy doing. And there are other things I enjoy doing too that I find myself not doing. I think we should do that. And sometimes doing a little something for someone else, or, an animal that can't help itself, whatever the case may be. Personally, I like 90% of the animals I run across better than about 80% of the people I run across. And don't pretend you don't know what I'm talking about. So I'm very much into, helping out pets and things like that, as well as people. Because I've been very fortunate to have you folks out there help me have a somewhat fairly successful business. I try and give back. We give a little bit to various charities and so forth. And I feel good about it. And it's not because I want to tell everybody about it like I am now, which I'm kind of embarrassed about now that I find myself doing it, but because it's a bright spot. And we all can have those bright spots. And we don't have to donate money, or if we don't have time, go do things. But sometimes just some little thing. Do something for someone else. Tunnel to Towers, Wounded Warrior, Paralyzed Veterans. All of these are important charities. To say nothing about the humane societies in your area, the animal shelters, the children charities. All these things, just the littlest things sometimes, will bring us a lot of joy. And I think it's so important right now. I really was brought home to me this week by how much I enjoyed just that little blurb of, oh, that's really nice. That makes me feel good. And I realized how far between sometimes those moments of feeling good about things have been lately. And if you're not able to do that, it's difficult to be effective in the things you want to do. We don't want to be hangdog or angry or some combination of both. It makes us less effective, and it keeps our mind from operating at an optimal level. You guys need to have an optimal level of operation out there. You're the last best hope to move the idea of America forward. Not just conserve it as a conservative, conserve the best and move it forward. It was never more brought home to me this week than when I saw that Wall Street Journal story, and many of you might know about it, when they went through, I think the top 63 economic advisors for President Biden have a median experience in the business sector of 0. Yeah. A few had like 2 years, perhaps, in some vaguely related business. The rest are academics and lawyers that are really lobbyists. They don't. Some of us are lawyers, have our own business. I have a small business. I sell a service and I pay all the bills, and at the end of the year, end of the week, end of the month, whatever's left over, I keep. That's a small business. It would be great, just like many of you that either have your own business and just like that, or you work in a business and you understand that, how it operates, how it makes money. And if it doesn't make money, you don't keep a job, and all these kinds of things that these people have no grasp on. It's all academic to them. In some instances, literally academic to them. And they're in no danger of any of their policies significantly harming them. This is the real danger of where we're at now. We have far too many people in charge of too many things in government and over our lives in the tech world that we let slip away from us because we didn't think it was all that important 20 years ago, thought it was sort of an entertainment thing. And now we realize that entertainment, technology, and information have been seized because we didn't pay any attention, and now we're paying the price for that. And the price perhaps is good to pay because we won't do it again. We'll understand a little more about what's important because we understand that shaping opinion and information is what's being done. And we realize how important it is to have good, clean, smooth, honest representations of what's going on around us. So that can be good in the long run. Give yourself a little rest. Do something you enjoy, and you'll find you're going back to the business of saving America a lot more refreshed. We'll be back.